Hello everyone and welcome to another day of Vlogmas or 12 days of Vlogmas, whatever you're calling this. I am back with another video that I hope you guys are all excited for. I haven't done this tag yet. I think I'm kind of late to it if I'm completely honest, which is the end of the year book tag. Honestly, I saw this tag being like, oh, that'll be perfect to do at the end of the year, as in like 12 days of Christmas Vlogmas. And then I realized half of these questions are like, they're kind of like autumnal questions. Like there's literally a book about transitioning into autumn. So, but anyways, I figured it would still be fun to do this because why not? I am pre-filming this, so any books that I talked about that I haven't read yet, I might have read by this time. But at this second, this is my thoughts on these questions. Alright, so question 1 is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I'm personally not someone who like reads multiple books at once besides like an audiobook, a school book, and like a physical book kind of deal. So I don't necessarily start a lot of books and don't finish them, but I do have one, but I'm not going to read it by the end of the year, but this is literally the only book I have started but haven't finished, and I'm planning on reading it in like January, so maybe I'll start it in the end of December, but I'm definitely not gonna finish it by the end of the year. But this is the only book that counts for this question, and that is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. Haley and I started a buddy read of this back in August, but I was really not in a reading mood at all, but I got to page 130 in this and I was really enjoying it, but I was really not in a reading mood, so I decided to put it down. She also put it down, so we never picked it back up just because when I'm in classes it's really hard to read this big of a book that I really have to pay attention to, you know? So we're kind of waiting for a good opportunity to really be able to just dive into this and really pay attention to it. So I do hope to like maybe just get back into this sometime at the end of this year, but probably not till January. But this is the only book I started and did not finish this year. Number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So again, I'm filming this kind of later than most people do this tag, so it is already basically winter here. There's snow on the ground, it's been snowing, like it's cloudy, it's gross, and it's winter basically. So I'm just going with a book that I read during the winter, I guess. I've read this book every single year since I've read it, and I usually read it around Christmas time, like winter-y time, just because it like brings a lot of nostalgia back. And that is my favorite book of all time, Three Souls by Jenny Chang. Again, I read this basically every December, sometimes November or October, but I read this every single year and I keep track of my notes with all my tabs and stuff. So I will be reading this by the end of the year, for sure. Is there any new release you're still waiting for? Not that I can think of. Yeah, no, I really don't have any books that I'm still waiting to be released. What are 3 books you want to read by the end of the year? So I'm going to combine this with the next question, which is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Because these 3 books I have very high expectations for, and I think could easily make it onto my favorite books of the year. Maybe not my all-time favorite book of the year, because that hasn't been topped since the summer, so maybe, but I do have very high hopes for these in getting 5 stars and maybe being on just favorites of the year list. So the first one is the book I'm currently reading, and I'll probably be done reading before this actually goes up, but that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I picked this up at a used bookstore and I've heard nothing but amazing things. It's literally got so many dang awards and like #1 in different things, best of the year, all of that kind of stuff. And I started it and I'm like 50 pages in and I'm already really liking it, so I have very high expectations for this one, and I definitely think this could easily be a 5-star book. Another one I think could easily be a 5-star favorite book of the year is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This is another book I picked up from actually all of these were books I picked up from the used bookstore. This is one that has been on my backlist for ages. I have been wanting to read this for years, and I finally picked it up, and I just have very high expectations for this, and I'm really excited to give it a shot, and yes. And the last book I think could easily make it on my favorite books of the year list is a author that I read another book from him, and I just hear that book isn't even necessarily his best. Like I hear that this one is his best, and the other book I read by him I gave like a 4.5 stars. So that is a man called Ove, however you want to say that, by Frederick Bachman. Again, I have been getting recommended this so much since I read Beartown, and everyone says that this is miles better than Beartown, which I'm shook at. So this I feel like could easily make it on my favorite books of the year. And the last question is, have you started making any reading plans for 2019? So this is like, it's not like necessarily reading plans, but it's going to be a slight channel change. I think I'm going to switch up how I do TBRs, just because my TBR pile is basically a month's worth of reading. Like every single time I like make a TBR video, it's basically my entire TBR. Like I only have between like 5 and 10 books on my TBR normally, and I just read through those TBR books. So I'm probably going to be doing different types of TBR videos and doing more like my current TBR pile / like seasonal TBRs. So that's kind of a difference in my reading, because I've never not done monthly TBRs. I still make them. I would still make them in my bullet journal like I always do, but I might do that differently for videos, and that would definitely just be a big difference in how I construct my reading, I guess. Because I am such a TBR person. But yeah, so that would be definitely different. And other than that, reading plans, I really want to read Words of Radiance and Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. I basically just want to stay on top of my TBR and basically do what I've done this year and just read what I want and do what I want with my reading. That's basically it. Anyways, those are all of the questions for the end of the year book tag. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and definitely tell me down below if you guys have any answers to this question, and if you, for some reason, haven't done this tag yet, like me, I formally tag you if you want to do it, so. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!